Good morning, stamping friends. Welcome to my YouTube Live. My name is Lorri Heiling, and it's always a pleasure to meet with you weekly and share some projects that I'm working on. It has been super hot here in Arizona. I think we are around 120 some of these days, but it is very hot and our pool is at 93 degrees. I usually like it about 90 degrees, so it's even a little warm for me, but we sure are having fun. And that's how we celebrated the 4th of July, by having a traditional picnic here, or barbecue, and then grandkids over for swimming and then fireworks at night. So it was just a really nice little holiday. So I'm busy this week with my classes, but I still wanted to share a project with you. And this one has a little backstory to it. I can't wait to tell you, because you might be in the same predicament with some of your cards. But before I get to that, I just wanted to point out that it is bonus days. And what that means for you is that if you spend $50, you will get a $5 coupon that is good for next month, and so you can have a little discount on your orders the next time you order. And so it goes by increments of $50. So if you spend $100, you'll get a $10 coupon sent to you. So that comes via email. So let me turn my camera around, and then I will share the backstory on this card, and then share with you the project. All right, hold tight while I switch my camera around. So this is a little card front that I want to share with you. There's nothing special about this. It has been in my scrap box for probably, I'm guessing, 5 years now. I'm not kidding. And every time I get out my white paper, you know how we all have those bins filled with paper, I see this, and a lot of times I take it out and I move it to the side because it's not all white and I can't cut into it, but yet I won't throw it away because it took me so long to, well, not that long, but you know, I took some time to glue all these little strips of cardstock on them. And so today, when I was thinking, well, what should I make for my make and take little project that I want to share with you today? And so I went to my white paper and, you know, kind of picked out a stamp set. And then I saw this again and I said, okay, Lorri, how many years are you going to sit and look at this piece of cardstock that is almost ready to go, but needs a little more work, and there's not even a card attached to it? So guess what? Today's the day. So this is what I'm going to do. Well, you know it's going to go on a card base, and so my choice is basic white. This is 8.5 by 5.5 thick, and it is scored in half on the long side at 4 1/4. All right, so we're going to set that aside because we are just going to work on this. Now, I could have started over and taken off one of these strips, because you'll see why I might have needed to do that. But let me set that aside and show you the stamp set we're going to use. I went through all my stamp sets to figure out which idea is going to work with this card. And I needed a critter or a person or something, so I landed on him. This is from Hearts and Hugs. There is a die with it. And so all you need to do to start out with is take a 5.5 inch by 4 1/4. So this is going to fill the whole card front. And then these little strips are 4 1/4 wide by 1/2 inch wide, or 1 inch, a 1/2 inch thick. All right, so then you're just going to line them up, and I think I just set one there, you know, because you want that a 1/2 inch. You want them to try to be equal in size. Just kind of eyeball it. All right, so once you have that done, that's half the work here. We are going to take our Memento black ink and our little critter. And I think we decided he's maybe a chipmunk. I know I did this in a class and we were trying to decide what kind of critter. And I think we decided it's a chipmunk because of his cheeks. And there wasn't a tail on him, so it's not a squirrel. I'm not sure. Chipmunks have tails as well. What do you think that is? I don't know. Whatever it is, he's cute. And I like that his hands are widespread. Okay, then I already cut it out. I die cut it, and then I took my paper snips, and if you can look, I cut really, really close to his hands here. And the rest is, actually, I die cut it, and then I decided I wanted to fussy cut it because I wanted it even closer. You know, the die leaves a little bit of an edge. All right, so now we're going to color him, and I'm just going to put this silicone mat underneath because sometimes the blends tend to go through the paper a little bit. And we are just going to color his body, and I'm using light smoky slate. And I'll leave a little bit on his ears so that I can put a little bit of color. He's got to be something other than gray. Same with his feet. So I don't know why, I always like to start with the lightest color. Color them all in, and then we'll do a little bit of shading. And shading is super easy with the blends because they do exactly what they say. They will just make it darker where you want. This is dark smoky slate, and I just kind of tend to go wherever Stampin' Up! Has a line. That's where I make my line. And then we'll go back in with this and just kind of blend it where those two edges meet. It kind of takes care of that little seam line there where it goes from dark to light. Do you see how it blends in? And then I just kind of go over like that. But you want to leave some areas lighter. Otherwise, if you just color it all in, you're just basically, you know, coloring on top of color. So just kind of blend it and then go back over where that darker is. Do you see how it's blending now? Sometimes it takes a few seconds to get the full effect of the blend. Okay, and then we're going to go in, let me do a little bit more here. Okay, now we're going to do, let's see, I think I will use, let's do our bubble bath. Maybe we'll, yeah, I think bubble bath's going to be the right pink. I just want a really light pink in there. And I think I'm going to use petal pink, even lighter, for his nose and his hands. His hands maybe should be gray though, but I want a little bit of color in here, so we'll just use pink. I don't know, it would help if I knew what kind of critter this was, so I knew the right coloring. Put in your comments what you think it is. All right, now, if you're OCD like me, I see a little bit too much white space here, so I'm going to trim just a little bit more of this off so it matches the other side. All right, so here we have our focal point on the card. Oops, a little bit of white space down here too. So this is trimmed really close. It's all right. This is a onesie card. I'm not going to make 100 of these. All right, so normally if I was making this card and starting from scratch, I would omit this one. But because it's already here and I don't want to tear the card apart, I am going to pretend like that was not there. So what I'm going to do is bring in one more strip. And remember, we're pretending like this one isn't there. So I would just be putting this down fresh like that. So you can't even tell that it's another strip. But because of what I want to do with him, that's why I'm doing it how I am here. Okay, so what I want him to do is to be stuck behind this. And this is why I trimmed really, really close to his hands. So it looks like he's holding on to it. And I'm going to put him right like this, right in there. And what I'm going to do is add some dimensionals, but I'm not going to do that yet because I want to stamp a little, my little sentiment right on here on the stripe that he is holding. So I am going to grab a stamp from Simply Said. This is a really nice stamp set that has a little bit of everything, all the holidays you need and the, you know, pretty general ones. This is one stamp set that I've gotten a lot of use out of. So I'm going to use the stamp that says, hello or thanks. Let's do hello. So I'm just going to grab my... I am going to first put a dimensional on the right-hand side because there might be some more movement underneath I don't think it is. And so I'm just going to ink that up and then stamp that right in the middle of this strip. And Versamark is clear so that when you sprinkle the embossing powder on, it will stick to this. Like that. And now I'm going to go emboss this with my heat tool and then I will be right back. All right, so this is what it looks like after it's embossed. Next, I am going to put the dimensional, just one small one on the right-hand side so that I can maneuver our little critter around like that. And then I'll put one in the middle, and I could just put it right smack on top of the stripe I already have. Remember, if you're starting from scratch, you won't have a stripe underneath, just leave it blank. And then I'm gonna make sure I get this right on top. So now there's a little bit of room in between the card and where he's gonna go. And we'll just flip this over and trim this off to match the edge. All right, now we're gonna stick him in here. He will go right like this. And I'm just gonna center him right where, you know, if it's a little bit more to the right, just you can slide him down. You can position him wherever you want. And then I'm gonna put a dimensional, of course, behind him, like behind his head. Like that. And then, I don't know, I don't think I need his feet, but what you wanna do is kind of bend out his hands a little bit so it looks like he's holding that stripe on the wall, and then go ahead and bend his legs out a little bit. And I know you can't really see it, but it's a little bit 3D-ish there. Isn't that cute? And really, that's all I want to do to this card, but we do have to put him on a card front, so just use your Stamp and Seal. I like the plus version. It's a little bit stronger and it comes out a little bit easier. And we will put this on our card base. This, and that is really all this card needs. Very sweet and simple, and the focal point is right here, and I hope you enjoyed that card. So this is a way to use up those little scrap pieces. I also want to remind you that if there are any products that you would like to order, please use my host code when ordering, and if your order is $50 before tax and shipping, not only will you earn a bonus day coupon, but I will also send you a gift in the mail, some Stampin' Up! Product, and also a thank you card. And that's my way of saying thank you so much for your business. I do appreciate that. Remember, I do host classes in my home, and I have an online card club. I also have a cozy craft retreat. Kits are left. And also, I'm planning a cruise in February of 2025. So if you are interested in any of those events, please visit my blog. I will also put links in the description area. Thank you again, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.